Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Robert Moraine, and I'm here in downtown New York. What's up? And obviously in New York. So I'm here working at The Box, New York City, which is kind of a late night, after hours club thing, and it's kind of weird, kind of different, but right up my alley. One thing that's really special about The Box is that they change the show every week. So I've been here for 2 weeks, and I've already been able to do 2 different acts that I normally never do on any other stage. But at the moment, I am not going to The Box. I'm heading to The Cutting Room, which is one of the most famous recording studios in New York. My friend David, who is actually a producer that was on my old label Milk, works at The Cutting Room as an apprentice sound engineer. All right, so I'm gonna call David. I'm right around the block. And my fingers are about to fall off. I never call him. He's gonna be weirded out that I'm calling. He doesn't know that I'm secretly filming him. Yo. I'm downstairs. All right, thanks. Oh, jaywalking. So David actually lived in Paris for about a year, and he moved back about a year ago. It's pretty cool because I signed him to the label not knowing who he was. I just liked his music. And then he just happened to have to do some school in Paris because he was going to NYU at the time here in New York, and had to finish up school in Paris. So while he was in Paris, we got to link up and we became good friends, and it wasn't just like a label relationship, but we're actually good friends now. So I'm pretty lucky because he's gonna be a big engineer, sound engineer, producer guy, and I get to reap the spoils of what he does. I think we're in Lower Manhattan. It's a beautiful city, isn't it? It's calling me. Hey, yo. Yeah, which number is it? All right, cool. I'm like right outside. Hey, David. What's up, bro? All right, that was fake. So this is David. He's a producer, man, engineer guy, and he's nervous in front of audiences for some reason.
You know that. That's a fact.
Yeah, so in Paris, I brought him up on stage and embarrassed the shit out of him. Well, I'm gonna turn the camera off right now because he looks really annoyed that I'm even
I don't
filming
care,
him. Come back to you in a minute.
And then the wind chill is like, makes it feel like -50 apparently.
Oh man, I believe it. The wind is what makes the cold. When it's not, like when there's no wind and the atmosphere is just still, it's like not even cold. It's actually kind of nice.
Yeah.
Like the snow weather.
Yeah.
I love that feeling of like ultra cold, but then it doesn't hurt. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for letting me.
Recording.
No.
I see it. It's recording. It's blinking.
Yeah, it is recording.
All right, cool.
No, but thanks for letting me come in here
Oh, for sure, bro.
again and
Yeah, it was fun
reap
last
the
time.
spoils of your of all of your hard work.
Yeah, well, this is the only reason to, it's not like it pays well.
Right.
Got to take advantage of the perks.
Oh man, it's the same reason why I work at where I'm working now in New York. Because
What are the
it
perks?
doesn't pay very well, but you get to
Just
go
the
on
clout,
stage
or-
and the cloud is it's great. I mean, everyone's heard of The Box.
Right.
Just probably like in this world, everyone's heard of the Cutting Room, right? So just that alone, the cloud is great, but also the ability to like be able to create with some of the best in the game is always interesting.
Do they have residents there, or is it just a rotating cast?
They do have a few residents. There's Rosewood, who's a great artist that has like 90 acts, so they can use her like throughout the whole year.
Wow. Okay.
Because she has more acts than there are weeks of the year. So, but she's not there every week. But they try and like switch it up every week, no matter what.
Yeah.
But there are some residents that.
They're more often than others.
Yeah, they're there like for at least half of the year. Kind of like my relationship with Crazy Horse. It's not like I actually work there.
Yeah.
100% of the time, but I'm practically a resident. Like I can kind of.
When you do those, you're like on a freelance contract, right? You can just edit out anything that I say that you don't want to talk about.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, you can do that.
Okay.
Oh. No, but with the box this week being like especially crazy, how do you conform to that?
Well,
or like, how are you going to stand out when I'm sure there's a bunch of weird, like you said that there's going to be some shit hanging and jacking.
Yeah, there's a lot of borderline over the top kind of numbers this week, which is kind of the norm. Like the first time I went to the box in London, it was like on this level as it is this week.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the shocking numbers are the shocking numbers, and then they have acrobatic numbers, and then they have like story numbers, and it's just the way the box's formula works. So I fit part of the formula, my number does. So it's I don't feel like I'm outcasted in the show.
Right.
I feel like I bring a good contrast to the other artists.
Right.
Because maybe for the more shocking acts, people won't really applaud very loud or scream. They'll kind of like be a little bit reserved and be like, yeah, that was good, wasn't it? But yeah, when I come out, I kind of break that tension.
Right.
And kind of let the people, be a little bit more expressive and
right.
how they feel. Yeah.
Well, that's how it's always been when I've seen you at Crazy Horse. It's like you steal the show in terms of like the actual audience participation.
Right.
Because the rest of the time it's like, you know, when it's like a woman doing some like risque dance number, like all the pervy dudes, like the tourist guys are very like they're engrossed for sure.
Yeah.
But they're like at the end they're just like.
They're trying not to like get in trouble with their girlfriends or wives.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I shouldn't give a little too much applause.
Right. It's like there's one time I went to go see the movie The Handmaiden on like a first date.
What? Okay.
It's like this Korean movie by Park Chan-wook. Do you ever see Old Boy?
No. Whenever it's like movie talk, David's a movie guy, so.
But I'm not trying to be condescending and just.
No, I know that. You're a movie guy. You guys love to talk about movies.
But so there's a movie The Handmaiden that like it's like a revenge thriller in like 18th century Japan.
All right. Well, that sounds interesting as hell.
But this girl and I were supposed to go to another movie and it was sold out. So we're like, oh, well, I've heard good things about this, so let's go. And like, first 30 minutes was like sick Japanese architecture and like, really cool music. I was really into it. And then I was like, oh, there's some like weird tension going on between these two female protagonists. Is that just me or is this like... No idea what the movie was actually about. And then, like, so ensues, like 2.5 hours of just, like, non-stop, like, super graphic lesbian sex scenes.
Okay.
And it's, like, my first time going out with this girl. And so,
I'm just, like, really
sitting in my chair, like, not trying to make any noise, like, not trying to shift my weight in any direction.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Not trying to seem like I'm too into it, but not trying to seem like I'm uncomfortable with it either.
Those are the worst. Oh, I feel like that sometimes when I watch Crazy Horse with my girlfriend, and I'm like desensitized to it.
Well, that's how I'm gonna feel if I come through tomorrow with that girl.
Oh man, the box is like a whole nother level. It's like, do you want to scream out in front of your girlfriend and be like, yeah, after you've seen someone put something in their
body?
It's always an awkward kind of situation whenever you're
so aware of like your body language and like your...
Yeah, totally. Like you don't want to like put your arm around your girlfriend
at the wrong moment. Right.
Yeah, like she's taking off her bra here. Maybe I should no.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way to win.
You know what I always do? I always take a drink. You know, like when I don't know what to do and it's like an awkward moment. It's like that, and then I probably do that too much.
So you're saying I'm gonna get drunk tomorrow?
Well, I think
take a shot every time you feel uncomfortable with your date.
A shot? I wouldn't say take a shot, but you'd end up. Yeah, you'd probably pass out before the show is over.
Yeah.
And it's at the box, especially. It's really an uncomfortable experience.
Right.
I think.
I mean, I got ripped at the box in London.
Yeah,
drank a lot.
It's definitely a place where that allows for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so here is it kind of like on a level of, I don't know, is this studio get out of control sometimes? Like, do people...
Here?
Yeah, like, do people buck wild? Do they go buck wild out here?
In what sense? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know about like any like sort of crazy sexual shit.
Yeah, for example, like, since we're on the subject, there's never been like orgies where they like they close the curtains and some shit goes down where you're not really sure what's going on. Or is that just when the drugs come out and then they're scared?
They don't care about the drugs, though.
All right, the drugs just come out.
Like, there's a girl that rents a space here, and I went to go see her play the other night, and there was this other girl. I'm trying to be, like, as vague as possible.
I understand that. Yeah.
It's a girl that had recorded at the studio before, and she was playing at the same show. And all of her songs just sounded like acoustic covers of Cardi B songs.
Okay. They're gonna know who you're talking about now.
They are. Well, I won't share it.
All right.
Unless your vlog suddenly becomes viral with this episode.
No, it's gonna be like 200 views
Perfect.
Of me just refreshing the page.
Yeah, I mean, my mom is the only one that watches any of my stuff or like listens to any of my music, but I have a feeling I'm not gonna want to share this with her. But I went to this show and the woman was like performing with like a guy playing acoustic guitar, but all the lyrics just sounded like Cardi B songs.
Oh no!
Like, she like in the break she would be like, "This song goes out to all my beautiful ladies that deserve to have their rent paid." And so I came yesterday and told my coworker about it, and he was like, "Oh, you mean her, this stripper girl?" And I was like, "Oh, is she a stripper?" He's like, yeah, she used to come here all the time and just do coke with her boyfriend like the whole session," which is like, I don't know, I guess being a hip-hop studio, that's a little weird,
right?
Like that's
it's
a
usually
sort of
like weed coming through,
weed or like lean,
okay, yeah,
or pretty much just downers all the time. Like seeing, I don't think I've ever actually had a session where like someone's done cocaine.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is like 70s. What's like a stark difference between
right, but this is mainly a hip hop studio as well, like you just said. So that makes
hip hop guys
sense.
Don't like uppers.
No, you don't really see that ever.
Yeah, I mean we've had people come in with like bottles and
Has
bottles.
Wu-Tang
of
Clan ever came in here?
You didn't see the plaque in the?
Oh yeah, their latest album.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
It's not my favorite album, but it's dope that they've been in here.
The guy that's recording in A right now, the chief engineer, he lived with RZA for like a year.
Whoa.
And like helped him build his home studio.
Damn.
So they haven't been here as much since because like the guy here literally helped him build a home studio.
Right. So,
but
why come into the studio and pay?
Right, but I think in the last few months we might have had RZA in once. We had Jizza in for sure, and what's his name? Master Killer.
Okay.
Yeah, they've all been in here in the last like 6 months or so.
Damn, that is epic.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some old school guys that like we've actually been getting this weird influx recently of like old school names that like I kind of forgot. I mean, not that I forgot about Wu-Tang, but like Lil Kim was here on Friday.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I met her and I didn't actually recognize
her. She's completely she's like done
so much
surgery. Yeah, massive amounts.
So
I saw her in a documentary. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, it's the skin bleaching as well.
Right, totally.
That's the shit that like really throws me off.
Yo, yeah, she looks totally like.
But I didn't realize until like I'm.
You know, Courtney Love looks like that too now. She like
Courtney Love looks fucked. Dude.
She looks like completely like a different person.
Yeah,
that's insane.
But yeah, so I met her. I had no idea it was her until like later. I saw the videos, like photos and stuff tagged, and like, I think she called the paparazzi on herself as well, because like we don't really get paparazzi here.
Oh, okay.
But
PR.
Like that's why a lot of the artists like this studio is like it's in a very central location, but for whatever reason it seems to be like relatively conspicuous.
Right.
Like they don't get hassled. Which is crazy because like Build is right down the street, and they do like celebrity,
right.
like a celebrity interview series.
Who was Jada Pinkett Smith?
She was there when you were there, and like, like the mailman one time was like, "Oh yeah, Paris Hilton's outside," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," and then he just like, "Oh well, she lives right down there," and like told me her address.
Right.
And I was like, "That's cool, dude. Thanks." Like
now, if I ever need to hit up Paris, I'll head over.
Right. That's got to be against some sort of like postal service conduct to like just
you like just be able to search someone's address and be like, that's where she lives.
Yeah, exactly. But like I don't know, this is like our mail guy every day, and he's the boy. Like he heard that J Balvin recorded here, and I like let him take a picture of the plaque, and since then he really likes us, so he's like just like handing out fucking addresses for other people on his like postal route.
Dude, it's funny because that happened to me in Paris. There was a guy, a delivery guy, and he dropped off a piece of gear,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, oh, he recognized that it was audio gear, and he's like, oh, I dropped something off last week for Jean-Michel Jarre, you know, like, and kind of like went off on this thing about where he lives, and like
Yeah.
I got to talk to him. It's pretty cool though. I imagine being like a postal worker, you get to randomly meet a lot of people that,
Totally.
especially if you're living in New York and doing it.
Well, you just got to go knocking on doors.
Yeah, imagine and your neighborhood was like Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just like where the ultra rich people live only.
Yeah, pretty much, especially around here.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty insane. I'd imagine you get to meet a lot of people. Not that they'd want to meet you anyway, but
Right.
like, hey, okay, bye.
Well, I mean, some of them are really lovely. Like last night, Ninth Wonder was here, or no, two nights
I
ago.
don't even know who I've heard of Ninth Wonder, but I don't know who
He's-
that is. I'm so
he's-
old, man.
Well, he's old too.
Okay.
You're just
I'm not.
you're just
in the
not
loop.
knowledgeable.
No,
Um,
I'm an idiot.
no, he's like Jay-Z's like kind of right hand producer.
Okay.
He's like the main guy on Rock Nation. But he was in the other night, and he's been here before, and he's like the nicest guy. You know, like walks in, introduces himself, shakes your hand.
Right.
You know, chats with you for a
And
second.
that's why he's still in the business.
But yeah, there's other people that just like kind of slither in and. But yeah, we've been getting like all these old names, like Rhapsody was here the other day as well.
Shit, I don't even know who that is either.
God, Robert.
Come on, man. I'm not educated in New York hip hop.
I thought you used to buy all kinds of CDs.
Yeah, but only the
Oh
cheap
shit!
ones.
Did you want to take a
From
look?
Paris.
We have like a locker full of CDs. Do you want to take a look later?
I wouldn't be able to copy them though. I don't have a CD ripper.
No, you can have them.
Really?
So we used to do a collaboration with KEXP, which is like a radio station in Chicago, or in Seattle, and they kept in like they would run their shows out of here, and they kept like an archive of like 3 cabinets full of CDs.
What?
And we've been gradually like weeding them out because we're working with them still a bit, but like you know everything's digital now.
Right, you don't need CDs.
Yeah, so we've been gradually phasing it out, but it's like a whole process.
So you guys don't know how to get rid of the CDs without throwing them away? Is that the problem? Because
That's kind of it, and like working here, I don't like working in the music industry. It just feels wrong to like throw away CDs.
Oh, totally. That's
I threw
why
away a bunch
buy
of
CDs.
records the other day. That like
It's fucking incredible, actually, how people just they do throw away their CDs.
yeah,
People come with boxes of CDs and just kind of give them to the record stores because they're not worth anything. Which is cool for people like me that collect music because a CD could cost 50 cents to $1 now. So you can have like a full album for $1 at the
Yeah.
same quality, or if not
more
better
higher
quality.
than iTunes.
Yeah, so
so iTunes is like M4A, whereas most CDs are 16-bit.
yeah.
Wave. But
And
like,
buying a high resolution audio files is really expensive.
yeah.
Which is ridiculous because CDs are so cheap. So it's just some weird paradox. And I
Mhm.
totally take advantage of the
Well, I mean,
medium.
if you need the if you're a person that cares about quality
Yeah.
and cares about like having the physical download, you know,
Yeah.
because like I was late to adopting streaming.
I actually don't care about the CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like the audio file at that quality for that price.
And then you just throw it away.
No, I keep the CDs because, like you said, it's like you feel bad for throwing away the actual artwork.
Right.
So, yeah, like the tangible...
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have
Part
a
of the
CD
music.
player in my house. My computer doesn't have a disk drive, but we still have it like a CD shelf.
I think CDs take the most room in my whole apartment. Like, out of all my stuff.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Other than your music gear.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. I actually don't like that, but I don't know what to do with all the CDs.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of music what kind of music is it in the cabinet?
I guess it's mostly like indie rock and stuff. I don't know if it'll be anything good that you'll like, but
No, there's always something good.
cause I like went through it all and took all the like, I don't know, like Interpol and they have like some hip hop and only hip hop that they would play on like a hipster
Right.
Seattle radio station.
Jump around.
Yeah, we're like fucking like they'll have.
Did
like,
they record here actually? What were they called?
I
Fucking
don't remember.
Anyway, that's
Not DMC.
important. No, it's not. They're a bunch of Irish guys. It's Everlast's group. What were they called?
Everlast recorded here.
Really?
He recorded Whitey Ford Sings the Blues.
Oh wow, that's a dope song actually, or
Yeah.
album, right?
It's like What it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that one.
I could have just said what it's like.
What it's like.
Yeah. Yeah, that was here.
Cool.
Probably in the old location, but yeah.
Oh, so this isn't the original location.
No,
They lied to me.
The way it started was like the owner was a student at NYU and he was recording people out of his dorm room. And eventually it just got like more and more until eventually like P. Diddy was in his dorm room. And he was like, all right, I got to get my own space. So he, I think, just moved into an apartment. And then he was on another spot like around the corner on Broadway for like 6-7 years. And then in the early 2000s, they moved it over here. And this is actually just two like apartment suites.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just they're like combined together. So that's why this building is like semi-residential.
Right.
There's some businesses in here. It used to be that this was like a purely like artist space. Like anybody that was leasing space here had to be involved in the arts. So there was like record labels and, you know, fashion designers and stuff that would hold offices here. But it's kind of moved into just being like luxury apartments for rich New Yorkers.
So is like the majority of the people not here all of the year, or do people actually live in the apartments?
No, people actually live in
like...
people live in the apartments and they complain about the noise daily. Because they know that we're not going to stop recording music here.
Right.
You know, they just want the noise to stop. And I mean, I'm sure they would be happy if, you know, when we have like big crowds that come through.
Right.
Because like, there was like 30 people here on Monday. The same thing happened on Friday. Between the two rooms, like for like a big session.
Right.
Especially when it's a listening session, when the whole idea is to like invite some PR and stuff.
Right.
The smoke isn't as big of a deal. We've gotten complaints a few times, but...
From smoking?
Yeah.
People can smell that in the other apartments?
It's... sometimes...
They must be smoking like massive amounts of weed too.
They do. I mean, it's like you said when you walked in here the other day. It smells like a grow house.
Yeah.
How did it smell today?
It doesn't smell like that today. Isn't that weird? I didn't smell it at all.
They must have run the air purifier. Because it sticks pretty bad. But like... The other day we got a complaint, and I think it might have been that people were like smoking in the hallway or something. Because when it gets rowdy in here and there's 30 people, someone will roll up in here and then move into the kitchen.
Right.
And then, you know, they'll go to let their friend in from the front door.
Right, and then all that smoke blows out.
Exactly. It's not like when you're in your homie's living room and you're being like relatively discreet about it.
Right. Well,
people get stupid.
Since I've been here in New York, it's like no one's being discreet about smoking weed, that's for sure. There's like a revolution going on.
Well, compared to Paris, yeah. It's just like completely decriminalized.
Yeah, it's well, they've actually decriminalized it as well in Paris.
Really?
Yeah, it's decriminalized. So you
only
get a ticket now. You don't go to jail.
When did that happen?
A few months ago.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so it's kind of
because when I was living there, it was a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. People
we got tackled by police a few times.
Tackled?
Yeah.
They tackled you.
Yeah.
Seriously, they brought you down to the floor.
Once, yeah.
No shit. The French police did that. They're like the gentlest police ever. I can't imagine.
Nah, the French police are such idiots, bro. This one time, my friend Drew was coming in, and he's from Colorado. I'd never met him before. He's just a friend of Phil's.
Okay.
And like they were like, "Oh, you're going to Paris? Like David's living there right now. You should hit him up." So he landed, and I was like, "All right, I'll help you get like your Metro card and your phone card and stuff," because he was gonna be there for like a month. And I ended up I probably hit you up this day because I needed to get weed. For him, because he's from Colorado and he had just been on a 9-hour flight, and that's like the longest this guy has ever gone without smoking pot.
Okay, yeah.
Like what
I used to be like that.
Like what we were saying about Kratom, weed's not addictive.
Yeah.
This is like living proof.
No, it is. It is. People that say it's not addictive are lying.
Yeah.
They're trying to cover it up so it doesn't get a bad rep.
Yeah. So this dude's totally addicted to weed, and I think I hit you up and a few other friends to try and get like a number or something.
You're right.
And he was like getting impatient. So we're in fucking Montmartre, like on that main strip by like all the sex shops and stuff.
Yeah.
And like guys are offering hashish. So my friend
it's one place to go find weed.
It's like
it's like where the cops are.
Yeah, it's where the cops and then all like the con artists are. Where like
totally.
You give a guy €20 and then you like sit down with him, give him €20, and then like you walk away and then you meet somebody else and then they hand you
Okay,
what
yeah.
you bought.
Damn, you got
But,
lucky. You didn't just run with your money.
Well, no, that's what happened. or no, rather.
Oh man, I've had that happen to me like 2 or 3 times.
We gave him the money, and then they gave us like a paper, like a rolled up piece of paper with presumably hash in it, but it was definitely just candy. It was like a Tootsie Roll or something,
the worst.
which is like a pretty. I've heard of that happening to a lot of people.
That happened to me in Pittsburgh, man.
Really?
Yeah, I was trying to find weed. I was like 20 years old with my clown friend in the streets of Pittsburgh, like in the ghetto, and like asked some random dude on the street, like, "Hey, can you get us some weed?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, follow me." Took us upstairs to some like ghetto ass apartment. Was like, "Wait here, there's a lot of cameras." And he's like, he came back out of the door with his homie, and they're like, they just said that there's a bunch of cameras, so be careful. But then he blazed us out with a blunt. So his friend came out with a blunt, and he blazed us out. But then he's like, all right, just take this, and you gotta go because there's cameras in here. We're like, all right, whatever. We were young, man.
Yeah.
Young white kids in Pittsburgh at 12 midnight looking for weed. And so, like, we went out, and it was like a bag of oregano.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got.
You got got.
Yeah, we got.
So, like, this dude ripped us off, and then my friend is still, like, needs to get high.
Oh, no.
So he had, like,
That's
his
the
last,
worst.
like, 40 euro or something. And we meet this other dude, and I was, like, speaking in, like, broken French, like, explaining, like, yo, we just got ripped off. Like,
Right.
don't try and, like, do nothing. And he, like, gave us this, like, tiny little sample piece of hash.
Right.
And then he was like, all right, walk with me.
And then the SWAT team comes out.
He's like, walk with me. We'll go get, the rest or whatever. And so we're walking down the street with him like a few blocks, and he's like, all right, let's go down this way. And I'm not on like high alert now because I just got ripped off. And I'm like, nah, we're going to go this way. Like, I'm not trying to like meet down in this, alleyway where all your homies are to like jump us.
Right.
So we're going to go down this alleyway and you can sell me my drugs here.
Right.
And then like, he just would like, I kept dodging him, like changing like directions. And I was like, I didn't want him to have any control over the situation.
Right.
Because I just didn't want to get ripped off. Eventually he got sick of it and like, just like walked off with my friend's cash. And we just didn't even want to deal with it. So like, we're in an alleyway. He has that tiny little bit of hash that he'd given us as like a sample.
Right.
My friend's like rolling a joint with it. And in our minds, we're like, all right, drug transaction is over.
Right.
Like we can now just hang out. Don't have to worry about anything. Be discreet. But like, I guess we were still rolling a joint.
Right.
So we're in this alleyway, and all of a sudden, this like bully van pulls up, and like 6 cops come out and like start charging out after us. And I'm like, no, c'est tabac. And the main cop guy is like, oui, c'est tabac. And like, they fucking like. They pin us down. They check like all of our pockets. They like smell the spliff that he was rolling. And at first they think it is actually just tobacco. And they like check all of our pockets. And the guy like opens the inside pocket of my jacket, and he found like a flask and some condoms. And him and I were just kind of like looked at each other and we're like. And we were like, so he and I were boys after that.
All right, that's.
But like, there's
happens.
like, there's like 5 other cops.
Damn.
That like eventually like ripped open the joint and found the hash, and we're like freaking out. And like this one dude, all he knew how to say in English was like, "Where's the shit? Where's the shit?" And so I had to like try and like tell them what had happened and like who gave it to us.
Right.
And I was like, un garçon, un chapeau noir, and like.
You sound like Bart speaking French. You
Yeah.
ever watch that episode?
No, I remember omelette du fromage from SpongeBob.
Okay, well that's
Or
all.
no,
That's
from,
all you need.
That's from Dexter. That's from Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in years.
What happens with Bart?
There's an episode where he goes to France, and he's like in this situation where he needs to like save his own ass, and he's alone and he's lost and he gets kidnapped and shit.
Yeah.
And he has to like tell the officer what's happening, but he can't speak French.
Yeah.
But then when he really tries, he can.
That's all you gotta
Which
do,
is
man.
totally the moral of living in France. Like
Well,
that's
that was-
what you want to do is try and not like.
That was my
not speak
situation
French.
living there. Was like the only times that I like really pushed myself as hard as I could to speak French, rather than just like, like maybe with like you and Morgan and like one of her friends like make a little bit of small talk,
Right.
but like really power through a conversation in French is once when I had to go to the hospital and once like or several times when I had to talk to the police.
Oh man.
Because I got hassled by the police at least like 2 or 3 times while I was there.
Man, that's so weird because I've been there 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
5 years solid, and I've never had that kind of problem.
Damn.
And I smoke a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Who the hell is that? Don't know. Yeah.
Like when I've seen you like smoking like, you know, a block away from your work, I've always been like, how do they do that? Because
yeah, I don't know. I think it's just when you look like you're trying to hide something, you look like you're trying to hide something.
Well,
and
what
I just
happened one
smoke
time
like
is,
I'm
like-
smoking a cigarette when I go outside.
yeah,
I try not to like be paranoid.
yeah. Well, I guess it's good that the amount that you smoke, you can to smoke like a blunt, like a cigarette.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
whereas I'm like,
One
when
hit every
I'll take,
hour.
yeah, I'll take one hit and then cough for a few minutes, and then like take another, and it totally looks like I'm smoking pot. But yeah, there was another time where I played at Bateau Phare,
Oh, cool.
and
Wait, was I there?
no,
Damn.
my friend, it was a lame ass show, but
Okay, they're always late shows
yeah,
at Battle Far.
right. But my friend Matthew had like a scooter,
Uh-huh.
like an electric scooter that the lock on it was messed up, but it was his. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're outside on like the upper part of the Seine, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like on the kind of upper part of the bridge, and he's trying to unlock his shit, and I'm just really drunk, and these cops come up. And so that my friend that I was with is from Paris, but he like he would like spend summers in Queens.
Okay.
This is how I met him.
What the hell?
So it's crazy actually because like his accent when he speaks English is like straight out of Queens, you know, like super clean. And then when he speaks French, it's like perfect French.
Crazy.
I've never heard somebody like turn on and off.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's really rare.
I hung out with him for like the first time I met him. I hung out with him for like several hours before I found out that he was French.
Right.
Um,
Interesting. Did
so-
so wait, which one was his first language?
French.
Wow.
But like from a young age, he would spend his summers with his dad in Queens.
Right. Okay.
So he and I were outside of Bateau Phare chatting in English. So we just sound like, I mean, my accent's a little all over the place, but like,
Right.
it's not very New York authentic.
No,
but
no.
his shit was Queens.
Right.
We're just sounding like two Americans talking, and then these guys in like plain clothes come up and are like, do you speak English or do you speak French? And he's just like, nah, bro, sorry, we don't. And then like the guy pulls out his badge and was like, you know who we are? And he's like, oui, je parle français. So they like start hassling him about it, like, because they thought he was trying to steal this scooter. And then they check all of my bags and are asking like, what's going on? What are you guys doing here? And we explain like we just played the show. And they like took out my phone, which was dead, and were like, turn this on. Like, this is stolen, turn this on. I was like, it's not stolen. Like, it's the only phone on me. It's just dead.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't really remember how it resolved, but it's just like the French cops, man. Like, they're always on some shit.
That's so weird. I never had problems.
I've had other friends that...
knocking on shit, but I don't want that shit to happen to me. I live there, but
Yeah. I mean, I've like... I
But
told
at-
that story like last week to a friend of mine that was like did a study abroad there, and like one time they were like buying groceries and like 3 guys, and the cops stopped them and like, you know, they had to like drop all their shit and get searched, and they were like asking where are the drugs, what are you doing here? And they're just like, we're students, we just live right down there.
what the hell? That's such a trip.
It's super weird, man. I guess
Where do you live every time you go? Maybe you're always in a bad neighborhood when you go to France.
Well, when I was like living there, I was living at Cité Universitaire, which is like just really south.
Okay.
And then when I stayed last time, I stayed a little bit in Montmartre and then a little bit in shit, I don't remember the arrondissement.
You could look like you're some kind of Miami drug dealer though that flies drug deals like
You think so?
by plane into other countries. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I'm cool with that.
You just need to like wear like a Hawaiian shirt.
yeah.
That's all you're missing. Maybe that's what they see in you. Maybe they look at you and they're like drug dealer.
Yeah, that guy's got too much drip. Well, I mean, I remember going to Monco with you, and there's that guy that was wearing like straight Moschino.
Yeah. Oh, he's my homie too.
Oh yeah, no,
Momo.
he was dope, but like
I think he wears I think he wears Moschino because his name's Momo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's that simple. He doesn't even like it. He just like references
It's like the
himself
most.
with
He
it.
wears the most gaudy shit they make too.
Yeah,
Like-
I think it's a statement that he's trying to make because in Paris they don't dress like that.
Drug dealers.
Well, no,
Or
he's
just
not
people?
a drug dealer.
I thought he was a drug dealer.
No, he just does lots of drugs.
Oh.
He's not a dealer, that's for sure, or else he'd be rich. But
Well, he looks rich.
no, he just wastes all his money on Moschino and does drugs all the time. But yeah, I think he's trying to make a statement because French people don't really like to stand out. They kind of
Yeah.
like to blend into the background and wear like what you're wearing,
Right.
like colors that don't pop. And yeah, he's just like, fuck that.
It's
I'm
just
gonna
like
wear a
this-
Moschino bag with everything. Like,
Well, it's like the same with New York or like Manhattan, New York.
Right.
The streetwear is picking up here, obviously, and like I think with this sort of monoculture that's arising from the internet, especially like fashion trends coming from the Bronx and from Queens and from Brooklyn are like becoming a little bit more urban. But still, for like a 20-block radius in Manhattan, like everybody's just wearing all black all the time.
man, I
And-
saw like some dudes dressed straight up like they were Run DMC.
Really?
Yeah, like 3 guys. Like they all played each character. Like
Oh,
they like
they were
literally
wearing
did
costumes?
Run DMC. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they were costumes or they were just extreme hipsters.
That's just how they dress.
Like, but it was straight up Run DMC, and there was 3 of them, and like they had the gear.
DMC was here last year. He's a real nice guy.
Dope.
Yeah, really, really nice guy. He made comic books and stuff now. But yeah, like
What the hell?
I guess it makes sense. Like brands like Moschino or like Moschino's Italian based, and then
Yeah.
what's his name?
Have you seen their old stuff before they did the Jeremy Scott stuff?
Um,
It's like really straight, like Italian suits and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. That's like I watched a documentary about Jeremy Scott one time. It's
Okay,
in-
then that's probably what I saw. The
Yeah.
Netflix thing.
the Netflix thing about yeah,
Alright.
he's not the most likable guy, but
No,
um,
that's not always the case with great artists.
no. I mean, I don't even know if I could call him a great artist.
No.
I think like
You think he's like a stealer?
I think he's a stealer. I think like what he's added to the brand is less like artistic vision and more just like confidence and boldness,
Right.
which I guess is part of being artistic, but
Right.
like it was a really weird pivot for them. I mean the brand was just kind of in the toilet, and so
Right.
they and they had like nothing to lose,
Right.
but to just like let some young dude from where is he from, like Utah.
Yeah, something like
He
that.
like rides horses or
Yeah,
something.
some midwestern town somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's-
that's funny. I assumed that guy was a drug dealer, just how he's dressed.
Yeah, like with the
But
side bag and everything. For some
Yeah, well,
reason in
yeah,
Paris
yeah.
they wear the Gucci side bags.
Yeah, well, he was wearing like the Moschino one that's like the teddy bear.
Right.
And it was just like, that bag is full of drugs.
And
Guaranteed.
it was
Just for personal
for
consumption.
him only, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they do those Gucci Roadman bags. That's like, they do it in England as well.
Oh, I don't get it. It's ugly. It's like, look how drug dealery I am.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm a drug dealer. Check it out. I wear a Gucci side bag with a
Yeah.
Gucci belt with like Nike sweatpants and
Yeah.
a hoodie.
That's how you get got,
Yeah, like, please
That's
catch
like-
me.
You ever see American, what is it? Not American Hustle. American Gangster. That movie with Denzel Washington and like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a great movie.
The way that
I actually know a movie that you freaking reference.
the way that that Frank Lucas, the guy who the movie's based on, gets like busted in the end is that he's like showing up to like fight nights wearing like huge like fur coats and stuff.
Right.
And the feds were just like, who is this? Because everybody else that would be at those nights is like, some sort of identifiable celebrity or investment guy or something. And then there's just this random black dude showing up that knew everybody.
Right.
And was wearing like these crazy clothes. And they're like, all right, if we don't know who this guy is, he must be getting like some sort of illicit income.
Right. I think that's one of the problems that comes along with drug dealing. Not that I've ever dealed, but I think that you kind of get the Scarface syndrome where you think you're just getting money like way faster than anybody else you know. And so
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're just like, man, I'm going to buy whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about the repercussions of what could happen if you're wearing your gold chain with diamonds,
Yeah.
driving your Bentley, and
Yeah.
carrying a pound of weed in your trunk or whatever.
Yeah. People just get sloppy.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just
The only people that can live like that are rappers.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and they
even
also
then,
have their
half
like,
of them are still selling drugs.
yeah, for sure, because you can't really make that much money off
Yeah.
of music these days at
Well,
all.
yeah, because they're like, well, that's what happened with like Young Thug. Like, I think he's might have beat the case, but like,
What did he do?
he got caught with like I don't know, like a bunch of weapons and like a ton of meth in his car and stuff. I think, or wait, Young Thug got caught with a bunch of stuff in his trunk. 03 Greedo also did. I think 03 Greedo was the one that had like several pounds of meth and like, a shitload of like assault rifles. And then he like, it was right when he was blowing up. Like it was he was definitely not making his income from hip hop at the time.
Right.
But he was getting big, and then he got on like he has like a 25-year prison sentence, and he was like evading the police for a while, and then like played at Rolling Loud Festival and like proposed to his girlfriend, and then like turned himself into the police the next day.
What the hell?
But Young Thug,
How romantic though. He was like, "Baby,
I'm gonna wait for you."
oh, it's horrible.
But like
didn't,
Young Thug got caught with a bunch of shit too, and I don't know what's going on with his
But-
trial, but it's like these guys are in debt to the record labels because of the
Right,
way that the
for
labels
sure.
work.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to keep up their side hustle.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if you're not selling your records, then you definitely owe money. When Tekashi,
Tekashi 6ix9ine, yeah.
Yeah, 6ix9ine, when he got caught for doing his shit, then they he only had like $1 million in his bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that insane? When you think that someone at this status, at this like level that everybody knows that has a bunch of hits,
Yeah.
only has $1 million in his bank account.
Yeah, when they front like it's so much more.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to do side hustle to
He
ball
never had,
like how the ballers are balling.
He never had like the most opulent lifestyle compared to like that was kind of part of like 6ix9ine almost has this like insane clown posse appeal.
Right, yeah,
where
that's true.
I remember watching an interview with him. I hate him. I fucking loathe that guy, but like
I don't like most
I was,
of the new rappers.
but I was like fascinated by him for a while. And I remember him talking about like, oh, you're never gonna see me wearing no designer brands. Like I don't rock with that or whatever.
Right.
And like, I think he maybe had at one point, but that guy's always like flipping his. Oh, he was a Blood. He was a Crip. He was this. He was that. If you can see photos from him years ago, and he's like trend hopping in a different way.
No, he's an idiot.
But like,
he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
But like, I don't think he had the craziest lifestyle. It just seemed like he was putting tons of money into his videos.
Right.
But yeah, he was also like new to the scene. Like the amount of wealth that people are talking about, it takes a long time to get there.
Right.
You know,
Or you just have to be like extremely huge. But I mean, people used to be extremely wealthy from just making one hit record. But
Yeah.
that's just not possible anymore.
Well, Soulja Boy was here last or 2 weeks ago, and
Well, that guy's like, he's been in the game though too as well.
he's been in the game. He has not done anything for like the longest time, but like when he made
It's good PR is what he has.
when he made he was on Breakfast Club recently. That's why he's like back in the news. Is he was on Breakfast Club and he like started throwing shade to like Drake and Tyga and Ariana Grande and like so like he basically just like fabricated some beefs that like put him into the news.
That always works in hip hop, doesn't it?
Yeah. But he actually made some interesting points where like he was saying like I was the first rapper ever on YouTube. Like really, like to really make it on YouTube.
Oh, I never thought about that.
And he was explaining like anybody who's using streaming like Spotify, Apple Music, any artist who's making money that way, y'all owe me 5%, which is like obviously it's ridiculous because like that it was
that
gonna
means all the dancers owe me 5% of whatever they're making.
right. Well, it's like obviously that shit was gonna happen either way.
Right.
Like someone would have done it, but it is an interesting point. Like when we think back to Soulja Boy. I love Soulja Boy, like Pretty Boy Swag, Turn My Swag On, Crank That. All of those, they're all bangers.
Yeah.
They're actually some of the few like mid 2000s songs that have aged well.
Yeah, you can still play it and everyone will like.
We had like our house party last week and we played Pretty Boy Swag and it went off.
Right.
But like you don't really think of him as being any sort of like mogul or anything the way that like P Diddy has like
he
built
does
his
do
empire.
all of his. He does do all this like cheap like he sells a bunch of merch. Soulja Boy, that's like his thing, isn't it?
It's interesting. You can see like you know, like artists like Lil B and stuff that are like hyper engaged with their fans as like as a method.
Right.
And then there's other artists who are like completely disengaged from their fans
Right.
as like another brand. Like most of the rappers that we have in here, I'll tag them in a photo like a week later. We never say like who's here like the day of, obviously,
Right.
but like once a week or two goes by and the project's over. None of them ever interact with us. Like all of those rappers, they follow like 80 people max. Soulja Boy, within 1 minute of me posting this photo of him like 2 days ago,
Right.
he followed us and liked a bunch of our photos.
No, that's
That's like his brand.
I'm on Soulja Boy's level when it comes to shit. Like you have to, in my opinion, you need to like reach the individual and
Yeah.
not just the collective.
Yeah.
Because that's those when you individually reach somebody, they'll stick with you for a long time.
Yeah.
And then you build some kind of relationship and like you'll stick with them as well, you know? Like I watch a lot of my fans' videos.
Yeah.
And it keeps me actually up to date and
Yeah.
it keeps you relevant because you know what's going on with the people that
Yeah, I think some of them just like want to create this mystique and exclusivity, and like that is a way to build a hype brand.
Totally.
You know, like people like
works
Future and
either
Young
way.
Thug. Like I'm pretty sure they only follow each other. Like Future follows like 4 or 5 people on Instagram.
Right.
And it's like
Well, yeah, when you're on
it's
that
like
level,
Young Thug,
you don't need
his
to
cousin, and like 2 other people.
word.
You know, that's like
Yeah, it's cool in its own right. For sure, it works that way as well.
Yeah.
It's like exclusivity. Like, oh, you want to be part of this elite team? Well, you're never going to be.
yeah,
Watch us
and that's
kill
why
it.
you should continue to listen to us. But Soulja Boy is like, yeah, it's interesting. He made Crank That, and he was completely independent at the time. He sold like 15 million ringtones. So like, I mean, all these guys are lying. It's really snowing out there, huh?
Oh, what? How did this just happen in the course of 45 minutes? It's snowing outside. Like I said, that's insane. Beautiful. All right. Well, I think I'm going to end this.
Word.
That was
We're just talking about hip hop now.
No, that's totally cool. I mean, this is the first time I've done like a long form conversation thing.
Yeah, I have fun editing it, dude. It sucks.
Yeah.
I do it for my radio show, and it's the worst.
Oh, really? Long form conversation stuff?
Well, I mean, my idea is always like, all right, we're gonna do like a 5-minute interview. My idea is always like we're gonna do like a 20-minute phone conversation that I'll cut down to like a 2-3 minute interview.
Right.
And usually it ends up being like an hour and a bit conversation because I like to talk.
And then taking out the good parts only is almost
yeah,
impossible.
and then it becomes like 5 minutes, but it takes me like 3-4 hours to like actually
Yeah.
get through them and condense it.
Yeah, editing is serious. That's what takes the longest for me as well. I mean, filming, it's really easy. You can kind of just
Well, you do
set
it
up.
in real time.
Yeah, and it's fun actually because then yeah, it's fun to film, but it's definitely not so fun to edit.
Yeah.
It's fun like when you're like at the last 90% of like finishing your video,
Yeah.
and you're like you could see where it's going. That's always interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna end this so I don't have too much to edit.
Good looks.
But here, check out this studio real quick. This is the mastering Studio B in the cutting room. Mastering shit. I don't know what half of this stuff does because I've never used any of this stuff.
I don't know
but
what any of the stuff on the right-hand side does.
I thought you were an engineer.
Yeah, but I'm not the mastering engineer.
Yeah, see what I mean? I could probably fake my way in the other room as well, but
Yeah.
yeah, all this stuff looks really, really complicated. And there's a certain way to use it, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, David. It's been a pleasure. Till next time.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to continue to hang out. after
Yeah,
we turn this
yeah,
off.
we're actually going to do some music, maybe. Peace out.